Tom Levecki here with a very special edition, last minute of the Armchair MBA. I got a text from RJ Roger, who needs no introduction at this point, of no excuses. Reached out. He goes, I liked your show a lot, but I also have some things I'd like to debate you on. RJ Roger, welcome to the Armchair MBA. How you doing, man?
You know, I don't make a lot of appearances, Tom, but your show triggered me.
You and I have a ritual when we get together. Two MBAs, to health, wealth, and happiness. What are you drinking there?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So let me tell you. So my partner and my friend Michael, my birthday, which is a couple of days ago.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah. So Michael sent me a gift in the mail. It arrived today, and he sent me a wet bar set.
I love it.
It has my initials on the front of it.
Oh shit, that's dope.
Yeah. So he sends me this in the mail today with the glass and the glasses.
Oh wow!
Have my initials on them. If you can kind of see it, probably can't.
But I love it. What are you pouring in those?
Now, you know, Tom, I'm a neat Scotch guy. Yeah. That's what I do.
Let me guess. Johnny Black.
This is actually red.
Okay.
So if I'm just gonna take a shot with it, if I'm
red is your daily pour. So it's gonna show you. People think I'm this big drinker. It's gonna show you how little I drink. I have zero red in the house. I have zero black in the house. I only have a little green because I had a rapper on the show. He came by the house, cold chilled, the good guy. I'll send you his stuff, and he brought a bottle of green as a gift. That's the only reason I have green. So salute, my friend. I'm happy to enjoy it with you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So,
all right. So we're gonna jump right in. I did a show a few days ago. I didn't think that it wasn't meant to be kind of a reaction show. It wasn't meant.
You got a lot of people hitting you on. I mean, I saw FBF did a response. I saw Jeff did a response, and you got me to call you this morning. I said, "Let me watch this show," and I said, "This is a good show." But Tom, I got to tell you. Yeah. This is the kind of stuff I like. I like these analytical looks at things, and I want to give you your credit because
thank you.
You had a very MBA type of approach to looking at this. Very analytical, very. I just thought it was a really well put together show. Yeah. And you know what's funny? All of us are discussing this in the background.
Yeah.
So the fact that you made the show is kind of good, you know.
Well, you know what's interesting? So Douglas goes, Tom's already drunk. I wish. So what happened was and it's going to resonate with everybody. Has like different parts of their life, and I know this will resonate with RJ. He has his daily life. He has his mob stuff, other stuff that he does, his family. And so for me, that morning I was doing a presentation for some physicians. And I was doing an analysis of a certain thing for marketing and branding and blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't help to think, I said to myself, I said, wait a second, I've been feeling a certain type of way towards the mob genre. Why don't I try to do a similar analysis for the mob genre, even though it might not be well received, even though people might look at me like I have 10 heads. It's just something I felt I needed to do. And again, I'm a little shocked. I'm a little shocked at the response, to be honest. I good and bad. And then the other thing is, which I found interesting, is that it's kind of, I think I'm right, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I see how different people reacted to it, right? And everybody's welcome to have their opinion. Everybody knows I'm a First Amendment guy, but it goes to show you by the differences in reaction. Shows you the dichotomy of what is, mob genre. All right, so let's jump right in. It's really 6 things, 5 plus the bonus. So I'm going to go through the slides with RJ. He's going to rip me apart a little bit, maybe throw me a kudos. Let's begin. Okay, so my first thing was I kind of gave a background. You know the players, Francis, Sammy. I brought up Larry Lawton for a reason. He kind of started off mob and then diverted. And, of course, our man James at OC Shorts. So number 1, lack of collaboration, okay? We discussed this on the phone. Give us kind of your knee-jerk reaction and what are your thoughts?
Okay, well.
And don't hold back.
This is the one that I kind of, and I watched Nadeau's show. Yeah. I saw some of his. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw enough of it. I saw some other responses. And, I disagree with this one. And the reason I disagree with this is because now, at a macro view, as you stated, you are correct. There isn't a lot of collab, and I had this discussion. I remember, I discussed this with me and OC Shorts to be frank.
Yeah.
Had an email correspondence about this, and one of the things I had shared with him is that there isn't a lot of collaboration among.
Correct.
There's collaboration among a group of channels, but the mob history channels
Correct.
are more territorial, the more competitive,
Correct.
and the more they don't really collaborate very much. I do agree, but the lack of collaboration is caused by something. Now, at the macro view, like you said, 30,000-foot view, you're right. Hey, where's the collaboration?
Yeah.
That's in this genre. But if you get at a micro view,
if
you get in the weeds of it, you would say, oh, I understand why there's no collaboration. So one of the things I heard last night, I heard I heard Jeff say, I don't understand why OC won't talk to me.
Yeah.
And
well, let's be transparent and let's have an honest conversation. Give me what made James make. We're not thinking for James, but why do you think maybe? Yeah. So Jeff said that, and at the time I said, you know what? And I like James a lot, but I was like, you know what? Yeah, James doesn't really collaborate. I didn't really think about that. And the dude might have had a good point. So unpack that for us.
But see, and this is one of the things that drives me nuts about this genre. We're in this whiny ass entitled genre where people just think I get whatever I want when I want it because I want it and I want it now. Yeah. Now let's take OC. Let's start with OC Shorts. Now OC Shorts is a white glove content creator in this space, which, as me and you know, in this genre, is hard to even get a white glove title.
Correct.
Right? He's the best in class of what we do.
I agree.
He's as far as if you, and I'm not talking about content. I'm talking about the classiness in which is done. Correct. I got uber respect for how he does his channel. He puts money into it. Yeah. He takes his production serious.
He's consistent.
And he's done big blockbuster numbers. He got shows that hit the 800,000, 900,000, 600, 500. Those type of numbers in this little genre are big numbers.
Correct.
So let's get into OC. Now, I don't know OC that well.
Yeah.
I only talked to him by email ever.
Yeah.
But my understanding of OC is he has a wife, he has a family, he has children.
Yeah.
Okay. He's probably making enough that if he wants to, he can just live off of what he's making and live just he can live a moderate lifestyle off his channel, possibly.
Correct.
Possibly. I'm not saying he's rich, but he could probably not to go to work if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, he could do this full time if he wanted to, judging by the projected numbers. Yeah,
there you go. So he's the most respected content creator in mob history genre.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, that's one. He's probably living off of it.
Yeah,
possibly. Okay, number two, he's the most successful with the most subscribers. Okay,
correct.
He did over 10 million views.
Yeah.
And he did it all while retaining, and this is the hard part. Success often has a price.
Correct.
He became successful without FUing everybody, without fighting everybody, without being hated by everybody. Correct. No one's calling his mom, his dad, his family, his kid, trolling him. Okay, so he has the Cadillac life.
Correct.
Now so that's OC Shorts.
Yeah.
Highly respected.
Yeah.
By everybody.
Correct.
Any channel in this genre.
Both sides of the aisle.
Nobody bad talks OC Shorts.
Correct.
He's beloved in this genre.
Correct.
Okay. Now, as you and I both know, that's a hard accomplishment in mafia history genre.
Agreed.
Okay. So now I heard Jeff say, why doesn't he talk to me?
Yeah.
Well, let's set that now. Okay. When you take that, all of what we just said about OC.
Yeah. What's
the point in putting that and putting that up at risk? what's the point for OC to import the cancer of? And I'm not knocking Jeff. I like Jeff. I'm just saying there's other channels that can be cancerous, that can have a lot of, Jeff Nadeau makes great content.
Yeah.
But Jeff takes a lot of heat on here.
Yeah.
He would say that. So I'm not putting the guy down. Jeff would say that.
Yeah.
Jeff goes through a lot. People who've contacted his family, his mother, his father, everything. OC Shorts is thinking when Jeff calls, hey, can we blah, blah, blah. You know what OC's thinking? You just don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So I understand why OC doesn't want to collaborate.
Yeah.
Some people take everything so personal.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself a question. It's not that a person just gets to inherit, and I've gone through it.
Yeah.
Everybody loved me as Black Handprint.
Yeah.
As when I became the Mikey Scars channel, I started getting heat from people. And sometimes you just don't need the nonsense. When he wakes up in the morning, OC don't have to sweat about what's on his phone or what's in his comment section.
Yeah.
He did it the right way. If anything, we should look at OC and say, brother, you did it the right way. I want to be like you. You don't get mad.
Let me ask you this, and I'm a big James fan as well, but Jeff gets views. Jeff has a good amount of subs. I don't know if I ever told you this. I told him to do this. So I'm streaming the Mobsters Inc. It's got about 30,000 subs. It's still growing because I have to restart it. I've been avoiding it because I've been busy, but I'm gonna get it back to where it needs to be, right? But it got grown with using shorts and stuff. So before I bought it, I had access to the channel. I said, "What is your favorite mob channel? Is it Armchair MBA? Is it RJ Roger, Jeff Nadeau, or who the hell are these guys?" And the group that the group that it was international, and because a guy from the UK, and 67% no clue who any of us were. So that was like, holy shit, this is a big opportunity for me. And I got like 5%, you got like 10%, 14% for Jeff, and the remainder was who the hell are these guys? So you guys blew me out of the water, but you guys still were the minority in terms of votes, which said, holy shit, there's so many people who don't know about our core group of guys, right? I'm just saying this because I respect James. Does a James lose out by not coming on an Armchair, by not coming on a Jeff Nadeau, and losing maybe 5,000 subs he could scoop up? By together 10,000 subs he could scoop up, because that's the other part too. This plateaus. You can plateau pretty quickly here. So does he lose out by maybe having that methodology?
And that's the thing. And Jeff and I talk the most off the screen.
Yeah.
So we had these debates a million times.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I'm constantly saying to myself and to everybody. This isn't the Malcolm X genre of by any means necessary, go get a sub, go get a view. At sometimes it's like, Tom, and this is what I stress so much.
Yeah.
Not every sub is a good sub.
Good point. Quality.
Not every view is a good view. It's not worth what comes with it. So for OC Shorts, let's say he is missing out on 5,000 subs.
Yeah.
The guy's living off of mob content.
Good point.
Nobody's attacking the guy. The guy does whatever he wants, when he wants to do it. He's a white glove creator. He's the most respected.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to say, you know what, let me pick up 2,000 more.
Yeah.
And import the cancer of these negative channels or of these guys that have all this negativity attached to them or associated.
Negative energy could hurt you. Let me, okay, so finish up this thought. So I want to run one more thing by you before we go to the next.
Well, my only point is, let's say he is. Do you think he cares? Do you think that extra 1,000 subs is that important to him? 2,000 subs to deal with waking up with a headache, deal with bullshit when you can just have your wife, have your kids, do what you love to do. Yeah. And that's what I did. I got accused of that. I got accused of, hey, why don't you? Because I don't want to deal with that drama.
Yeah.
People can know where my address is at. And you know what I get sent? A bouquet of flowers. Yeah. That's what OC Shorts gets, a bouquet of flowers. I don't get no.
Good point.
So in closing point, what I would say is sometimes creators have to ask themselves, what is a subscriber worth?
Good point.
Is it just, fuck it, I want to be and that's all that counts. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not always worth it.
Agreed. Okay. Now my heart went to my throat today. I text Mike Francis. He was in New Jersey, and when I text him, I realized I missed a text from him. And I'm not going to ever talk about anything public, but he did send me a text that I did have a guest on that he seemed to be a little disappointed that I had on to give a platform to, and he may not have been wrong, right? So Mike is a little bit more of a gentleman. Mike has come on my show twice, but he also avoids it. He actually came on my other show, my business show, and called in. He would not come on any mob-affiliated shows, which I actually respect. He was very upfront with me. Versus Sammy came on. He obviously wanted something to come on, but it wasn't a lot. He worked it out with me because I'm friends with his daughter, and he knew my cousin. My point being is Sammy was fair, but what I'm getting at is Mike never tried to hit me with a fee or try to small ball me, right? What I'm getting at is Mike collaborates a little better where Sammy doesn't collaborate as much. And generally in the bigger genres, the top dogs will collaborate with the very small creators with the whole idea of building a crew, building a team, team 10 type thing. Give us real quick, and then we'll go on to the next. What do you think about them as leaders not collaborating as much?
Now, that's a great point. So let's take Franzese that you brought up. Franzese collaborates strategically, not just I got a phone call, so I'm going to go. Correct. So you can take me, for example. I've helped channels. Tom, everybody's asked me to come on this show. I don't go. I go where I don't care. I go where there's a gentleman. I come on your show because you represent your channel in a gentleman-like way. Correct. So, for instance, let me give you an example. Kobe Roy. Yeah. Kobe Roy has become a good friend of me. I love Kobe Roy. We talk all the time. I'm going to go to his wedding when he gets married. He's a good guy. Yeah. Kobe Roy had, and I got, okay, I'm just going to be frank. We turned down Vlad TV. Me. Turned down Vlad TV.
You turned down Vlad?
4 million subscribers.
Why did you turn down Vlad?
I'll tell you off air, but we'll talk about it. My point is this. Got it. I can't just, I'm not just going to make that up. We turned down Vlad. Me and Michael turned down Vlad TV. Wow. Michael leaned on me for a lot of support. And it just didn't make sense. Now we're talking to other people. Yeah. But here's the point. There's a right.
I gotta connect to PBD so we can talk about it off air too.
Okay, so here's my point. Kobe Roy had maybe 800, 600 subscribers. Yeah. And I had like 10,000. He reached out for an interview. You know the first thing I do when someone asks me for an interview? I go check your library. Yeah. I check your catalog. I want to see the way because I don't want to misrepresent who I am.
You want to control the narrative and the brand.
Tom, I got 3 things that for everything I do. When I do a show, I want my mother, my daughter, my father to be able to sit down and watch my show and walk away and feel proud of the son that they had and the father that they have.
I respect that.
So my point is this. Kobe Roy is a gentleman. He's a nice-hearted guy. He carries himself very well. I went on his show not because he's a big channel that can give me a bunch of subscribers. I believe in myself, Tom. So I don't gotta go nowhere to to be a sub whore.
Good point.
If you believe in yourself, you don't have to be a sub whore. It's the people who lack confidence. Let me get on your show. Don't you have any confidence or belief that you can build yourself by being you? So I went on Kobe Roy with 800 subscribers. I helped Kobe Roy. I got thousands of views for that on that interview. I just went on to Adrian with investing yourself.
Another good dude, another good guy.
Great guy. First thing I did when he reached
out. I had them both on my show. I had Adrian on. Did I have Kobe on? I think I had Kobe on briefly, but I had Adrian on as well. I had them both on. I'm big fans of both.
So there you go.
They both love you.
And but you know what though? They're gentlemen. They conduct themselves with class. I'm not with this new thing of I'll get a view by acting like a fool. I'll get a sub by acting like a nut. I want to go viral by being laughed at. I don't need it that bad. It's not by any means necessary. Yeah. So my point I would say is to answer your question about the small and other genres, the big channels collab with the small channels.
Correct.
I heard what you said about the 500 subscriber guy went to the 10,000 subscriber guy, and it helped them, right?
Correct.
Now, here's the difference in our genre that we struggle with.
Yeah.
I don't think the problem is the big guys don't want to work with the small guys. The problem is the big guys don't want to work with a jackass. Yeah, that's what it is. They don't care if you're small or big. They care. Franzese cares if you're a jackass or a gentleman. That's what.
That's why he worked with me. And again, I need to mend some fences. But yeah, so you're right that they want to work strategically. They want to work with the right people. And your library is your representation of who you are. And your content is at least online, your representation of who you are. That makes sense. I can rock with that.
Next question.
All right, splitting the audience. Where do you land on that?
You know,
I'm really quick. And the reason why I bring this up, and you're the perfect person to have on, and the perfect timing, because Lori Love is a good person and has been at odds with me, but has given me a chance, right? You did your own show, right? And then you do a new show, and you're one of the few people that, hey, I do work with an informant who owns it, right? But it didn't necessarily, even those that dislike Michael or what he did, still like you and respect you. I think that comes from being a gentleman this whole time, right? But when you do work with an informant, it does come some baggage. So give me a little bit of splitting the audience philosophically, and where do you land on that?
And that's the thing. It hasn't come with no baggage. Do you know who takes the most heat on my channel with Michael?
Who's that?
Me. Not Michael. Me. RJ, shut up. Shut up, RJ. Let Michael talk. Okay. Michael, what I'd say of his ilk, of the guys who were former cooperators that now are talking and doing things, I'd make the argument he's the most respected guy talking.
Of that group, I agree. I don't think anybody can disagree with that.
And you know what, though?
But if not him, I agree.
Tom, energies match in life.
Correct.
We match energies. Me and Michael ain't that different from each other. Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm not a sleazy guy. Yeah. I don't try to make Michael look sleazy.
Got it.
I don't try to talk to Michael in a way to misrepresent him. I try to bring out of him the pieces to show to the audience things about him that they don't even know. Okay. So Michael's in. I'm our producer. Michael will tell you that. I'm the producer of our channel. I'm not just a producer. I'm a creative producer. Correct. I edit. I write the shows. I ask the questions. I do. I handle all that stuff. Michael is in good hands with me. I'm not going to misrepresent Michael. I tried. My thing ain't about me. It's about making the show look good, making Michael look good. Correct. I don't try to harm him, or I want Michael to be shown in the best light possible. So, as far as we didn't take no heat, Tom. I don't have no moderators.
Correct.
I don't have no wrenches.
I have very few.
I don't have no wrenches. It's no problem. So here's the thing, because I've taken some heat why Michael doesn't make appearances. Yeah. So I'm gonna give this to you.
Yeah.
Once Michael's out of my hands, he's in your hands.
Yeah.
I worked too hard to help Michael come out and tell his story. Why should he come out? He has his own channel to speak from. Why does he have to go on someone else's channel and talk when he can be on his channel?
So your strategy is to own the IP. You want to make sure he doesn't go out there and share. The IP is the story, right? Intellectual property for those home gamers. So
this guy got
the IP. Okay, that's fair.
He has the most. Yeah. He has the most untold story out.
That's fair. And
why doesn't he just tell it? Why go across the street and tell it when you can tell it from your own house?
Well, let me ask you this though. How do you create awareness? Now, luckily you're on here, so people that don't know your show would know, but how do you get some of Michael's people, Sammy's people? How do you create awareness without him doing the rounds?
I'm a believer that quality talks.
Okay.
That good shit gets out there. I heard a story before about this pancake place in Harlem that don't take no credit cards, cash only. And they make
Sylvia's? No.
I don't know what the name of it. I heard the story before.
Yeah.
And they do no marketing, got no website, got nothing. All they do is make the best pancakes that you can eat, cash only. And every morning, that line is around the corner.
Yeah.
Cash only. All they do is focus on quality, delivering quality material. And when people are satisfied, people talk.
Correct.
Best pancakes in Harlem is over here. You guys got to check them out. Yeah. Me and Michael are grassroots.
Yeah.
We don't make appearances. We don't go nowhere. We focus on one thing, being gentlemen, being positive, and staying the course, doing quality work. And the belief is it will shine through.
Okay, I'll give you that. But in general, in terms of the genre, and try not to internalize, I want you to think as I put on your headset, commentator watching the game, right? One of the downsides about this genre is there's people that are diametrically opposed to each other's position, but will not sit down and talk without yelling and screaming and saying obscenities and threatening your mother, right? Why can't people that maybe somebody's against informants talk to somebody who believes in maybe law and order and the use of informants and have a fruitful discussion where they might have an active disagreement, they may disagree at the end, but maybe find some common ground and respect each other's position. That's another thing about splitting the audience, I think, which lacks in the space.
I agree with you on that. To me, the whole informant argument is so silly.
Yeah.
It is so tired to me. We're talking about the mafia.
Yeah.
A group, it's a criminal organization. So you want to tell me stand-up guy is a guy that is out extorting businesses, robbing, shooting, killing his friends,
good point,
exploiting the public, stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Informant, bad guy. Let me ask you a question, Tom, and I want you to give me an answer.
Yeah.
What's worse? The guy that kills his friends or the guy that informs on his friends?
The guy who kills.
Well, I don't know the answer. I'm just asking what's worse. So a guy took the stand against his friends and another guy shot his friend in the head because he was ordered to.
Good point.
Which one's worse to you? Or do we just say, you know what? This is the skinny kid at fat camp type of theory.
So here's the thing, and we could have another show on this, but when the mafia lost its utility in the neighborhood, I think that paralleled its decline. So, for example, I had John Dickey on, who's a worldwide expert. He's up there with Saviano, Antonio Nicasso, and Sergi. Like, I was nervous talking to him. This guy's was knighted by the Italian government, right? He's more of the Italian organized crime guy, but the guy's an A-lister in that space. And he just said it. I said, was mafia necessary for the Sicilian community because of all the revolutions, or was it a parasite to its community? He went immediately for it was parasitic and basically said what you said, basically saying these guys are dirtbags, right? So when you start from that point, you bring a good point. You know what I mean?
Come on, guys. You know what? And that's the bad thing about this. The one thing, and I'm guilty of it. I'm not taking myself out of the picture.
Yeah.
Us as creators, we got to take a more responsible approach. It's almost like, it's almost like alcohol has that little warning symbol on the back, letting you know what, this is what this thing does to you.
Yeah.
The thing that we're not doing with the audience is we're not telling them the but. This is a criminal organization at the end of the day.
Correct.
This is an organization that has caused a lot of harm for people. Michael says it on our show all the time. We're a criminal organization, absolute criminals. He has said it multiple times. So the problem that's happening is we're creating this thing where people are like heroes.
Yeah.
You hate informants, but you got a mass murderer hanging behind you.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Pick a side. I hate rats, but I love killers? Pick one. Which one are you with? Are you with the guy that killed a bunch of people? But you know what? I know I'm veering, but let me.
No, we'll go. I get where you're going. Okay. And it's a little hypocritical. Reason, because I know you're short on time. Reason 3, I think this is just a behavior shift, kind of going back to the norm. I'm going to go back to Monday Night Football. I'm going to go back to tennis. Behavior shifts, kind of pre-pandemic. I don't want to say the words. I don't want to get demonetized. Where do you land on number 3?
This is the one I can 100% agree with you.
Perfect.
And you really opened my mind about this one, because I never thought about that until I saw this point. I'm like, wow, we just all got lucky. Us early ones, Jeff
Yeah.
Nadeau, me, Lee
Yeah.
Cole, yourself,
Yeah.
FBS, all of us got in at a groundbreaking time where we could all get views and all do very well. It's harder now with these new guys coming in. This guy, before, you can come in and you could get 1,000 views, 2,000.
Yeah.
Now you got to work for 1,000 views. 2,000 views is hard to get for some of these new guys. For us, we would just put anything out and we'll get 1,000 views.
Yeah, and also I wanted to bring the point of, we kind of fucked up. Like, we were given like the keys to the castle where like 30,000 people could have kind of been all in, instead of, you know, watching 10 hours of YouTube a week. They might still cut down to 5 versus 1 because they're loyal to the brand of shows that they follow. I think we all fucked this up royally.
Oh, Tom, where I agree, this thing's dead.
Yeah.
The Titanic is sinking, Tom.
Correct.
You better find a little door to jump onto, because I agree with you 100%. I think this whole thing really has changed, and we didn't do right when we had the ball. I completely agree. Before you ask me about reason number 4, can you explain to me what you mean by splitting the audience, so I'm clear on what you meant?
Splitting the audience is, there was first, you know, whether we like it or not, Francis is not perceived as a cooperator. Now, there's the traditionalist, the purist, he's a rat. But I'm talking to the mainstream, he's not a cooperator, right? So then when I had the old show, there was a rise of, you know, we push back, you know, an anti-rat movement, people that were kind of street guys. It was a small minority of the population, but it was very vocal. So that started kind of splitting the audiences, right? Then in the micro community, there was a huge split with, essentially, I don't want to say names, one side on one side on the other, and threaten their families and kids and everything else. And then so in the micro, there was a super split, but then on the macro, there was a big split as well. And then because of that, nobody was really able to capture the whole bit. Now, this is...
Can I just say one thing about that? So
yeah.
I think that, hello, Angel. What she said, well, informants kill people to stand up, guys. Hi, Angel. How you doing?
I'm going to ask you a direct question, and I'm going to admit that I may be guilty of this.
Okay.
Do you and I ever maybe scrub a little bit, whether it be Michael, John Panisi, whoever we interview or been with? Do we tend to maybe, you know, look past their bad stuff, right? And then maybe scrub a little bit for the audience. And you said it earlier that we should be stewards and be more judicious. Are you and I a little guilty of that?
Well, I guess it depends on how you're looking at it. I don't look at it as I put the whole organization in the same pot.
Got it. Okay.
And what I would say, like, you know, when I heard Angel talking about on a show one day, Angel talked about, you know, and I don't want to misquote her, I hope I don't, but essentially what she was saying is, you know, when her father passed on, she was looking over like, Dad, what was all this worth? What was all this worth? And I agree with her. You know, Sonny Franzese, his wife, went out. This woman went through hell in life. So she loves flowers and plants and stuff like that. She goes out, plants rose. She calls a gardener over to make herself happy. She's living in a terrible life. They plant bushes and trees, and she had a guy come over and set all this nice garden up for herself.
Yeah.
She's happy for a second. Sonny comes home. Flips out. What the hell do you have all these trees up on? Flips out. Calls the gardener, makes him pull everything out. It made this woman very happy. Sonny had them all taken out. You know why? Fear that someone's going to sneak up and shoot him, and they can hide behind a bush. So what I'm trying to say is this. The organization, you know, it's trash in, trash out. The organization, family struggle.
Yeah.
A lot of pain is created from the organization.
Yeah.
It ain't the rat that makes the organization bad. It ain't the non-rat that makes the organization good. Okay? It's the organization changed from what it originally was created to be. At a time in Sicily, it made perfect sense. They had infiltrators coming in from all kind of different countries, people trying to take over their land. The governments were corrupt. Everybody's trying to take their stuff, kill their women, rob and kill. So they created something for self-protection. It hadn't happened. The mafia started as a good thing.
Correct.
And like anything that gets big, it becomes corrupt.
Correct.
And that's what happened with the mafia. So everybody should just be honest that the organization is just not, it's not an organization that will end in happiness. It's not going to end good. It's not going to end good. I don't care what side you're on.
Correct.
If you're not a rat, John Gotti wasn't a rat.
Yeah.
But I think it's terrible how his life ended.
Correct.
Sammy was a cooperator, a rat. I hate using that word because it's not fair for me. I'm not a street guy, so I say cooperator. Yeah. But the life was bad for Sammy's family. It was bad for Sammy's wife. It was bad for Sammy's children. It's just not a good.
I would be at dinner with Karen, and he would call her, and you got a call from, and obviously your face lit up. But imagine in your adult years, and Angel obviously can relate to this, so with due respect as well. But other people, they had the whole adult life has to talk to their father kind of behind bars. Granted, they're culpable and did it on their own. But all right, this one is a bigger one. I probably should spend more time on it. I know we're on the back half of where we need to finish, but audience capture. You start a certain way, right? And I get what you do with Michael. You have a lot of upside. You probably have 3 years of shows, right? And if you wanted to start doing MBA stuff or true crime, you probably, as RJ, would do it. But what if Michael wakes up one day, or you wake up one day, you're like, I really want to follow the banking, the finance, whatever, because we could imagine a former capo talking about, Wall Street, right? Audience captures when you start in one lane, and when you pivot, you get crushed. So you go back and you're almost captured or succumb to, that audience and that genre, because that's how you started. Give us your thought on audience capture.
So what you're saying is too many channels got stuck in one lane?
Yeah. So for example, let's say you started as a drama channel, right? And you made some good money. And this is not any individual person, just in general. A call out channel, which is common on YouTube. And all of a sudden you make some really good money, but you want to do true crime, or you want to maybe do true mob stuff or do interviews. And then when you do, your money goes way down. Not just donations, just in general, right? And then that's audience capture. You got to go back to where you started, because that's where your butter's being bred. And what do? You don't grow because you stuck with that audience, but you also make some good money because that's where the money is, at least in the short term. Give us where you land on that.
This is the other one that I do agree with you on.
Yeah.
Audience capture. I got stuck in that. Going back, I started Black Handprint Mafia. Yeah. So I'm stuck in Mafia.
And you and I talked about this. You called me up. Should I call it Black Handprint this? Should I do this? Although I love this stuff, I don't want to be chained to the Mafia fence. I remember I was talking about this.
Exactly. So I got kind of caught in that thing. And audience capture is a real thing. Yeah. And I was talking to Nadeau about this because he wants to merge in to do true crime and things like that. And one of the things that we have to see, I sometimes wonder if creators are confident in what they're doing. The buck is a byproduct of patience. It's a byproduct of discipline. It's a byproduct of self-belief. If you just focus on doing it great, the byproduct will be your views and your subs and your subscribers, and your money will come. The problem is people don't want to go through what it takes to wiggle out of audience capture. So I tell Nadeau, bro, because he really wants to move into true crime. The guy's brilliant when it comes to crime. In general, Jeff just loves anything that's crime. If it's corrupt and it's criminal, Jeff's looking at that thing, and I tell him, bro, mob genre, this is where I agree with you again. Mob genre is small.
Yeah.
The best mob genre will ever be is fun with an audience you can talk to, like a hobby. Maybe you make a couple $1,000s in a month and you can, but you ain't living. It's very hard to live off of if you are one of us. a
Correct.
non-former guy, like Franzese or Sammy. So you have to go through the process to build a new channel. And you got to accept, to accept, I'm going to get 600 views on this show and I can get 20,000 on mob content, but I'm going to pivot. Tom, me and you talked about this as far as a business program. I told you the same thing a long time ago. And back when you were at 8,000 subscribers, I said, Tom, you are a business. You were on the phone breaking down how to sell a book, best-selling books, you were breaking down marketing theories and stuff I couldn't even wrap my mind around. And I told you, Tom, you're a business, you're brilliant in business. But the thing is, you can get 20,000 on mob, and then you might get 800 when you pivot.
Correct.
Now, the same way you built yourself up to get to the 20,000 mob, starting with 200, 300, 400, you have to accept that you got to start with 200, 300, 400 in the pivot. So I tell Nadu, take the 1,500, the 3,000 views and pivot, because there's more upside in true crime than there is in mafia content.
Got it. Now, donor fatigue is, and donor fatigue is, you give to something and then you give something again and give something again, and you kind of give them the same amount over time, but kind of getting this, it's like almost like insanity, getting the same thing. So you tend to will eventually give less, and then you eventually go away. That's donor fatigue. It happens in all channels and all genres and everything else, right? But the reason why it's a big deal in this genre, there's two reasons. Number one is you either have to grow or be profitable, right? And for those that are making a living off this, have to be profitable. And there are some people that are, right? And what happens is, if you are worried about profitability, you get a lot of donors, right? But then because you don't grow, donors get fatigued, they drop off, and you can't replenish with new. I know. I text. Hold on. One second. So, all right. Sorry, real quick. Okay. So, long story short, I'm going to wrap up soon. But so, donor fatigue comes from people, giving money and tired of giving money, so they back off, and you don't have the new people to replace it. But part of the reason why, and it's free market and it's fine, but part of the reason why a lot of us had to go to the donor model, well, I've been very lucky because I got sponsors, but the donor model is forced upon people because we're not big enough to be sponsored. Now, you were smart. You went the subscription model, eat the eggs, not the chicken, get, $10 from everybody and for X amount of people. And that's the way to do it, to be honest with you, the best way to do it. But you go, if without a sponsor, because you don't have big views, you need donors, hence donor fatigue. Where do you land on that? Sorry, I'm a little diarrhea of the mouth.
No, you're good. No, I get what you're saying. I think relying on donor is the worst formula.
Yeah.
Because it's like a church. You just got to keep asking for more and more and more and more and more. And eventually everybody gets tired of giving at some point. And sometimes you're like me, you're analytic and you're like, damn, I looked at my bank book and I gave this much money. I ain't giving no more. So I think the better thing to do is I play the long ball, Tom.
Yeah, correct.
People don't agree with how I do it. I take heat from it sometimes. I play the long game. I'm not worried about $1,000, $2,000. I'm playing the long game. So I'd rather just take the slow route, build it up, and create something that can live on. I mean, that can keep on going. Our Patreon is super successful.
God bless.
We got like over 600 members already. We just crossed our third month. I was trying to get it up to 1,000 the first 3 months, but we did over 600 the first 3. It's still growing every month.
Good.
We're doing good on YouTube. And I don't got to ask nobody for nothing. I don't want to have to ask nobody for anything. All I want to do is give you good content. That's a lot less stressful because I'm confident I can make good content. So I'm confident in making content. So if I just make good content, then the people and the subscriptions and everything will come organically.
We're going to wrap up soon. This is a quick and easy one. Creator burnout. I see this happening a lot with creators. They're burning out. They're just not as sharp. They're losing their edge. Where do you land on this before we wrap up?
100%. It's few. Only this ain't for the faint at heart. It's only a few of us that can stand the test of times. I seen a lot of guys come, a lot of guys go. They come in, they make a bunch of videos for 2 months, and they're gone. To do what Jeff Nadeau does, to do what OC Shorts does, to do what all these different guys in this genre do, where they can be here. Guy like yourself, you can just stay with it, take the low views. Sometimes you work real hard, you get shit for it. And then for me, it was always the opposite. The stuff I worked the hardest on got no play.
I know you're so pissed about that Costello video.
There you go. But the stuff that I'm like, oh my God, I got 10 minutes. Let me just think of something. Like, for instance, my current State of the Mob got almost 200,000 views. I literally woke up late. I'm like, I got to make something.
Yep.
This is what I'll do. Everybody stole it, copied it, remade it. It got made by everybody 10 more times. It was my original video. Anybody in this genre, in this whole genre that has the word current state of the mob, who are the active bosses, they stole that from RJ Roger. I made that video in 10, 15 minute video. It got 200,000 views. So the people who can go through the ups and the downs and keep it going, those are the ones that's going to last. But most of the time, this genre has so much shit with it, it's going to burn you out. So I agree with you on 4 out of 6 points.
Well, listen, RJ's fee ran out. I have to pay $10 per second past 45 minutes. So RJ, thank you so much for being on. We'll continue this another day. You hear the screaming. I'm getting the plug. I will talk to you very soon. RJ, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you, brother.